Dr. Radio, Sirius XM Channel 110.
To hear Dr. Radio, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
Did you know SiriusXM has over 100 extra channels on the SiriusXM app filled with ad-free music made for everything you do? Mashup channels, workout channels, channels for parties, or just chilling out and more. Expertly curated for any mood, occasion, or activity. Extra channels let you discover new music and enjoy even more variety from every decade and music style you love. Plus, you can watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows with SiriusXM Video. And you can do it all along with listening in your car as part of our music and entertainment plan. Right now, we're offering SiriusXM subscription plans for as low as $6 a month, plus fees and taxes. Call 844-711-8800 to find out more about these amazing offers.
This is where former latchkey kids come to get their 90s grunge kicks. Unlocking a decade's worth of commercial-free alternative rock. Sirius XM Lithium. To listen to Lithium, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or head to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
Guitarist is Eddie Van Halen.
What about Prince?
You have to include Slash and Jimmy Page.
B.B. King and Bonnie Raitt.
The Edge changed everything.
The debate continues with rebellious riffs and 6-string solos on the SiriusXM Guitar Greats channel. All hail International Guitar Month. SiriusXM Guitar Greats on Channel 107 and year-round on the SiriusXM app. Get closer to everything that moves you, wherever you are.
The Laura Coates Show, the Michael Smerconish Program, The Briefing with Steve Scully, The Dan Abrams Show, The Julie Mason Show, and more. Your preset for politics is SiriusXM's POTUS. To hear SiriusXM's POTUS, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/go.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, I think so. There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, I think so.
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at equityzonemortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 018-14868.
To the cup for John Robb.
It all makes for one of the most iconic weekends in sports. Live coverage of the Masters continues tomorrow at 2 Eastern on Masters Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Regardless of your age or current condition. So I encourage you to stop everything you're doing and click the button below right now to watch a short free video that shows you everything you need to know. You don't even have to believe in the law of attraction or use meditation every single day. This 9-word technique is something you can easily do from home. If thousands of people just like you have already used this 9-word technique to transform their finances, relationships, and achievements, then it can work for you too. Just imagine waking up each morning refreshed with solutions to problems handed to you, grasping new ideas the first time you hear it, even though it takes others days or weeks to get it. Best of all, learning new skills quickly not only improves your finances, but also brings freedom in your life. But hurry, the billion-dollar industry has already removed this video from the internet twice before.
Grando Deportes, Bonjour, Vidi Vidi Vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, and the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe. According to me, and people who love the universe, that includes you. I think I was dreaming out loud about manifestations. You can manifest Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 29 podcast applications all over the universe. You can also find us streaming on 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. But I want to tell you, someone woke me up from my dream. You ever been having a good dream about being a billionaire, and somebody says, "Man, wake up. It's time to do the Big C Sports Podcast." Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them sit you, where the good Lord split you. And then let me sleep when I said I'm a billionaire. I just try to have fun on a Friday. You got the Masters going on down in Augusta, Georgia. The great Tiger Woods made the cut, set a record for doing that. There's some people thought he wouldn't even make it through the weekend, but not only has he made it through the weekend, he's actually made the cut, and I'm going to talk some about that. Also got some Big C's NBA basketball power rankings. We're down to the back nine of regular season NBA basketball. Now they're going to be getting in line for the playoffs. All fair and level war on a beautiful April 12th, 2024. I want to say you can follow Big C Sports every day, Monday through Friday, and what I love doing, not only when I get my dreams awakened, I produce the show, I direct the topics, I broadcast all the shows, I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in our lives. I know I can use more laughter. And then the commercials are done, the stats are provided, the storytelling. I even do the play-by-play. Big C up to the 18th hole. All he had to do is putt 1 foot away to win $18 million. He has a wide stance. The crowd is quiet. The putt, it rolls down into the hole in your life. Get in the hole. Big C just got in the hole, and he won $18 million. Now, that's a dream I don't want to wake up from, if that makes sense to you. And then the show's uploaded to 29 podcast platforms out of New York City. And then, I'm telling you, streaming on 4 TV platforms. Number 10, I never missed a show since doing Big C Sports Podcast with the crew back in the days at Salem Media, and I love what I'm doing. The show is funny to me. I like to have a lot of fun. I know nowadays people going through all kind of things. I'm getting calls from people just saying they're going through stuff and to pray for them, and I'm doing the best I can to pray for me and pray for others. I just say keep breathing. Everybody goes through something, but if you keep breathing, again, just thoughts and prayers with a lot of people that have reached out to me about their personal things that are going on in life. All I can tell you, life is filled with joy, pain, sunshine, and rain. And we got to all go through it. But what I can do in my best effort is to say, just keep on rising and shining. If you keep rising and shining, maybe the universe will keep rising and shining with you. Speaking of rising and shining, I want to pay homage to our Veterans Crisis Hotline, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste, and they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know anybody going through issues? And even for some of the people calling me and telling me some of the things that are going on in their lives, whether it's loss of loved ones or loss of work or whatever it is, you just got to keep picking yourself up. I've been there. None of us are going to get out of here alive. All of us got to go through something. It's about the memories that you make. If you love somebody, tell them now, because sometimes God doesn't give you tomorrow when you think, okay, I'll call that person tomorrow. You don't know. And so, again, thoughts and prayers to people that have reached out to me about their loved ones that have transcended. I want to say with the Veterans Crisis Hotline, you don't have to be a veteran to call that hotline and get some help. You can pick up the phone and call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give them some praise, because we all need somebody to lean on, especially in tough times. Sometimes I even find myself being ungrateful. I think I'm a grateful person. And then there are times I found myself saying, man, I should have already had that, God. And there's times when you're just going to push through. When I was growing up, we had a lot of wood. We lived on a nice parcel of land, about a quarter acre of land, and we had lots and lots of wood. But, none of that wood got there by itself. My brothers and I would go up to the mountains and get the wood with my mom and bring that wood back down the mountains. And then in the backyard on the side of the house where the orchard was, we would have to get that wood off the trucks and off the trailers. And then we have to get the axe and we have to chop the wood. In fact, bringing the wood down from the mountains up near Yosemite, you got to think about what we had to do in those days. We had to get that wood and bring it down and put it on the back of the truck, on the back of the trailer. But you know that wood would not chop itself. The only way we got that wood to fit in that fireplace is we had to get it and chop it up ourselves. As much as we wanted it to be in the fireplace, it would not chop itself. So we learned to chop wood. And sometimes we chop the wood one time, we think, oh, man, there's something about the wrong with this axe. But if you got to keep chopping the wood, you keep chopping until you get what you want. And I think that's what we got to do in life, too. Sometimes if people in life, you can believe in people and hope they're going to be there for you. And sometimes you just get let down, not because of any reason other than people got to choose their own path. Or sometimes, like people that have been calling me, God says it's time to come home. And when God says it's time to come home, people got to go. And it's just part of life. So we use sports to get our minds off of things that are going wrong in life. Sometimes we use politics to get our mind off of what's going on in life. But at the end of the day, the only thing we have are memories. That's why I say if you love somebody, let them know. Sometimes people have such a warped sense of humor that they choose not to talk to people that they say they love. And they get a phone call that somebody's gone. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to be such an ass. I should have called that person and told him I love him. And then there are people, they actually get off on tearing apart families. They want to see families broken up. Sometimes their own. It's a shame. I just want to say again, every day is a gift. You got to open it every day. You got to rise and shine every day. So that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I want to say thank you to Xfinity Comcast TV and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then God said, let there be light. Some of my pastor friends, they don't like when I misquote the Bible, and I've gotten upset before. Big C, we want to talk to you. Maybe if you're open to some constructive criticism. I said constructive criticism is always fair. I'd rather take constructive criticism over destructive criticism. And they say, well, when you talk about what God says about reparations in the Bible, it's not there. I said, oh, yes, it is. You got to see it. They said, well, tell us where it is. I said, Genesis chapter 1, verse 3. When God said, let there be light. Let there be light on reparations. If that makes sense to you. I love doing that. I know we want to watch sports and games and things. I know my own little personal story. I've been out jogging because I was trying to just build up my body the way I used to look when I was younger, like half my age. And my body said, fool, you're not 25 anymore. But I was running like I was 25 until I felt the pop in my leg, in my knee, right? And I thought, oh, it'll go away. But most people know when you twist an ankle or sprain a knee, sometimes that pain, it doesn't show up until later at the nighttime. Just when you're trying to get a good sleep, it says, wake up! And I know that was about 2 weeks ago where I felt a pop in my leg and that little bit of swollen knee, but I've been putting some muscle cream on it. I've been putting some Vicks paper rub on it. And did I say paper rub or vapor rub? Same thing. At the same time, I've also been just stretching more. And then doing ice and heat bath in the bathtub to do that. And it's been getting a little bit better. But then again, I've been grounding myself in the grass, standing on the grass, wet grass, so I can connect with the frequency of the earth based on what I've been hearing about how to ground yourself. And so I've been grounding myself with the frequency of the earth. But my knees, sometimes they come and go. Sometimes it's a lot of pain. Sometimes it's joy. Sometimes it's pain. Sometimes it's sunshine and rain. But I do want to say to people going through things, I told you, my sympathies are with you, and just keep giving God praise and rising and shining. I know it may seem weird at times when you got so many things that could be great in life, and you got people that are losing loved ones, and you got people who are still alive, and they don't even say hi to the loved ones. It's crazy because the enemy gets in and people start having feuds and not liking each other and I'm never going to talk to you again. And they still alive. And then you have people who've passed away that had good communication. What is that about? It's just weird. What kind of person would try to create division in their own families? I know it's out there. I'm not going to be Pollyannish or sophomoric. I know it exists. But again, we got to rise and shine every day because tomorrow's not promised to nobody. If that makes sense to you, get that some breeze. I love giving that a break. What I want to do, I want to get into the Masters today. I want to get into Big C's NBA Power Rankings also today. I'm going to talk about that. But at the same time, I want to talk about doing things that are important. And I just heard about it today because, as you know, with the RDC team, we help people with their estate plannings with a guide to protect, a guide to preserve, and transfer wealth. And then I hear about people that have transcended and they had no life insurance, no trust, no will, or the probate court, they have a will for you. But there are people who just thought, oh, I'll do that later. It's nothing going to happen to me. And that's why I love what I do with Big C Sports Podcast. I know some people don't care about, man, you talk too much about politics. Just tell me who won the game. Light the beam. Light the beam. But more important than that, there's a lot of things that I want to light. I want to shed light on things. And in case I need help too. I need people to elucidate things into my life. So what I try to do with Big C Sports Podcast, I want to be factual. I want to do that. And I'm working on a commercial. Some of you may or may not like the commercial, but you can't say I'm not working on the commercial. I do. I'm telling you, a guide to protect, preserve, and transfer wealth with the RDC team, Resource Development Consulting, in conjunction with the law office of Scott Thibodeau and the law office of George Jones, Esquire. The Missing Link, long-term care solutions by the book, helping seniors get their benefits together. Medicare and You, long-term care, taking care of tomorrow. Medi-Cal in California, other places called Medicaid and Medi-Cal. It's all fair and love and warm. And why would we work with the RDC and the Big C team, Big C? I'm glad you asked. Your family and spouse can avoid the spend down for nursing home costs. You can find out your options and our promise to you. Again, as I tell you, I'm working on a commercial with Big C Sports Podcast. And unlike most people that do a commercial, I don't sit in the studio trying to do 29 takes and saying, okay, I'll take that last take. If I make a mistake, I do it live. You can hear it. I don't redact it. I don't start over. I'll just keep going. And I ask God to guide my words. When I speak, guide my words. My mama used to tell me all the time, when you speak, baby, ask God to guide your words. And so it's kind of a commercial. And some people say infomercial. Either way, why work with Big C and the RDC team? 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. We specialize to navigate and maximize long-term care benefits, protection of your assets without a spin down. All paperwork and communication with all government agencies are handled by our staff of entitlement specialists. Ongoing consulting to provide updates as necessary. Benefits covering skilled nursing facilities, prescriptions, medical equipment costs. Do you know anyone that's ever dealt with skilled nursing facilities? Do you know anyone that's ever dealt with taking prescription medications? Do you know anyone that's ever dealt with medical equipment costs and more? Protection of your assets, if that makes sense to you, including your home, thereby allowing you to leave a legacy for your family. Avoiding the nightmare of debt brought by the government's estate recovery program can be between 10 to 40%. That's egregious. A one-time processing fee versus monthly insurance premiums for the rest of your life. Why else would we listen to Big C and the RDC team? I'm glad you asked. Protection, insurance coverage required by law, general liability, workers' compensation, lawyers specializing in living trust, Medicaid or Medi-Cal, planning for long-term care, avoid probate, life insurance, veterans benefits, aid and attendance for our veterans, pre-planning and avoid the look-back period. What about fixed assets, Big C? I'm glad you asked. Your bank account, a checking account, savings account, money markets, certificate of deposits, life insurance, cash values, fixed index annuities, variable assets, real estate, qualified money, IRA, 401k, and other investments. For you real estate people, avoid capital gains with a step-up basis. For example, you buy a house for $100,000, and then in 1 year later, it's worth $1 million. According to some real estate brokers, they say pay that 7% because your house is going to appreciate so much. Well, that appreciation will be a $900,000 appreciation called capital gains. If you have your property in a trust, You avoid the capital gains. They assess the property at the value of it at the time you sell it, not at the time that you bought it. That makes sense to you. Over 3 decades of experience, business owners find out your other options to protect what your insurance coverage does not cover. 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. And all you got to do, when somebody like me tells you to do business with us, ask what your endorsements are. Not only is Big C part of the National Black Wall Street Project, co-chair, Northern California chapter, also with RDC, Business Development Consultant, and our endorsements come from very powerful information. Mr. George Jones, the chairman of the California Black Chamber of Commerce, also California Black Chamber of Commerce Foundation. Mr. Leon Woods, Resource Development Consulting, works with some of the top lobbyists in California. Miss Cheryl Brown, she's the chair of the California Department Commission on Aging. Mr. Ray De La Cruz, the president and CEO of Resource Development Consulting, actually had the blessings of Robert Carlson, the former top dog for CalPERS legal staff, if that makes sense to you. Mr. Alex De La Cruz, the president and founder of American Veteran Benefits. And there's so many other people that work with the Big C team, getting endorsements from people with the California Reparations Task Force. That's important. And that's Reverend Avis Brown, who's also the president of the Black Chamber of Commerce and also NAACP in San Francisco. So that's what you get with Big C team. Give that some praise. I say give it praise, 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 because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. I want to also make sure that I pay homage to what no one else does. Not just sports, but I want to pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And I'm asking all those gentlemen and women to help people get an understanding of what RDC team does. From Reverend Tony Pierce, the president, CEO of the National Black Wall Street Project, and we're having conversation. How do we help people avoid the probate process and protect their assets? The same way O.J. Simpson did over the years. The late O.J. Simpson now. He put his property and his assets in trust, and it protected it from people coming after him for whatever reason. What if everybody did that in the black community and even white community? As we're waiting on reparations now, reparations forever. Imagine that. I want to give praise to the California Reparations Task Force. Only Big C Sports does it. I got attorney Camila Moore. She's the chair. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to Dr. Amos C. Brown. He's the vice chair. He's brilliant. Love giving him praise. I want to give praise to California Senator Stephen Bradford. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to give praise. And I've also met with all of them. And even Amos Brown, Dr. Amos Brown was on my program last month. I'm going to have him on again as I talk to him about the package we sent and how to help people protect their estates. We got to do that. We can't just talk about reparations only and not help people that we can help today. With a trust, you can control what happens to your assets now. You don't have to wait for President Biden to sign some executive order. To me, that's more important than hoping that somebody's going to sign some order, because we control that. And that to me is important. And that's what I love doing with Big C Sports Podcast. I hope that makes sense to a lot of people. I want to thank Councilmember Monica Montgomery Stepper. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to thank Assembly Member Reginald Jones Sawyer. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to thank Dr. Shell Grills. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to thank Attorney Lisa Holder. She's a fierce fighter for diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is under attack in 30 of the 50 states in the United States. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at California Berkeley. He's brilliant. I want to give praise to Attorney Donald K. Tamaki. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. As a Japanese American, he actually got reparations for the internments for the Japanese Americans when they were interned in internment camps here in the United States. And I really give them praise. Give them praise, praise, praise. I mean, I love what I'm doing with Big C Sports Podcast. It doesn't mean everybody likes it, but I'm going to do my best to always give praise to where praise is due. I want to thank Double O, part of the payout committee for the National Black Wall Street Project, also working with the RDC team, has her own economics awareness talk show called Let's Eat. And I want to make sure that I give her praise, doing a great job. She sent me Executive Order 13985 on President Biden's first day in office last year. when you talked about further advancing opportunities for undeveloped communities, that's people of color, African Americans. People know that. She also sent me an article by the United Nations that says strong political leadership and political will are crucial in order for reparatory justice. That's reparations. I appreciate that. I would thank Brother Aleem Shabazz, who actually taped the reparations meeting at the Secretary of State's building, Dr. Weber, back last year for the Reparations Task Force, also part of the National Black Wall Street Project. I want to give them all praise. It's not just me. We know that a mind is a terrible thing to waste, and I love doing that, and hopefully you'll do it too. But just before I get into the Masters, a tradition like none other, I want you to hear a white conservative radio talk show host, and he's going to talk about reparations. So it's not just Big C Sports Podcast. And some people say, reparations is divisive. It's not divisive. Listen to this speech and tell me what you think. Listen up for those of you who want to hear about reparations from a white man's perspective. Because oftentimes when a black man says it, you say, oh, we don't need no reparations. You say you love Dr. King. You want something to be repaired. You want to do the right thing. Listen to a white conservative talk shows about reparations.
Martin Luther King, we had a conversation a couple days ago about handouts and how these right-wing memes, these Republican memes, have infiltrated the Democratic debate to suggest that, ending welfare as we know it, all those kind of things are somehow, great and noble things, when we're not dealing with the underlying problem, which is that there's no economic opportunity there because of insane trade policies and because of Reaganomics. And Martin Luther King spoke to this. Jim and Shane, this is clip number 4. Martin Luther King spoke to this sometime back in the early 60s. And I thought this was a really interesting quote. Here he is.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. Now, this is what we are faced with, and this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
From his speech, The Two Nations of Black America. And it's absolutely brilliant. And the next time some white person talks about, well, I pulled myself up by my bootstraps and my family did too, especially the Bundy boys. I mean, here's Martin Luther King, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., talking about how basically whites stole the West from the Indians with the complete, and didn't just steal it. I mean, murdered them, murdered the Indians in the process, and did not give any of these benefits to African Americans for 100 years in this country. It's a strong case for reparations or some variation on it, for rebuilding our cities, for doing right after having done wrong for so many centuries. It is a very, very strong case for that.
They let this strike. I tell you, I don't mind paying homage to other people who have a view that may be more acceptable than what Big C Sports offers. And that's why I say it doesn't matter to me. If you're going to do the right thing, I don't know how anyone could argue against doing the right thing. Whether it's a black man or a white man or a black woman or a white woman telling you, I don't know anyone in their right mind that can say that we don't deserve reparations. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. When it comes to getting into sports, there's a lot of times when people just want to say, Get in the hole. I love talking about the Masters coming up down in Augusta, Georgia. Tiger Woods, he actually made the cut. Now, Tiger's never been one to talk about reparations, but he has been, I just had an epiphany. What Tiger was doing on the golf courses for over 2 decades now, almost 3 decades, Tiger's been doing his thing. And there was a time when black men were not allowed to participate in the Masters. Not because they weren't good enough, but because our society has been so draconian. You know, this Christian nation, in God we trust, with liberty and justice for all. That nation. It's not an indictment against all Caucasian people. It's just an indictment against the Caucasian people who tacitly consent to discrimination. Discrimination now, discrimination forever. What did Governor Wallace say back in the day when black men couldn't play at the Masters? He says, segregation now, segregation forever. And you know, many people never argued that was divisive, but it was. So the great Tiger Woods, the only way Big C Sports can tell you, he makes the cut at the Masters and breaks an all-time record with 24 consecutive cuts. And there was a time where he would have been told, get your assets off the golf course. And some of those same people say, we don't need to pay no reparations. Tiger Woods, I'm proud of what he's done. During the second round of the 2024 Masters Tournament, Augusta, Georgia, the second day of the 88th Masters was never going to be kind to the great Tiger Woods. It was an intersection of worst-case scenarios, especially to some media, with Woods having to play early and often in cold temperatures, and it takes him hours to get his battered body ready to play golf, which meant an early wake-up call Friday morning this morning to resume his first round at 7:50 a.m., and he had to play the final 5 holes of his opening round before arriving at the first tee to start his second. One of the greatest calls in the history of any sport. I want you to say it with me with a countdown to 3. 1, 2, 3, get in the hole! Doesn't it feel so good? I want to do it one more time because it feels so good. 1, 2, 3, get in the hole! Man, getting in the hole feels good. No matter what you're doing, unless you get in the hole that I stepped in when I twisted my knee, if that makes sense to you. But the great Tiger Woods, for a man, they said earlier this week that every shot that's not in a tee box is a challenge. 18 holes is more than enough. You know, I thought I did a great job when I shot 66 on the golf course. And then somebody told me, as I was pounding my chest, said, I shot 66. That puts me in first place at the Masters. And a scorekeeper said, hey, Big C, would you mind if we just validate your scorecard? I said, sure. I shot 66 at the Masters. He said, number 1, you still got the back 9 to go. And he said, get your assets off the golf course. You didn't qualify. May lightning strike. Maybe that was part of my dream too. But when you look at the cold, windy conditions that make up the tournament in Augusta, Georgia, it's difficult to loosen up a body and piece together by screws and rods and fused joints. That it seemed that the factors had conspired against him this week. But Friday was also, for anyone who's ever played golf, even if you're a dream golfer like I am. See, I've heard of scratch golfers. I've heard of guys, like when you ask, what's your handicap? I said, my handicap is when I try to get in the hole. Okay, I think that's funny in my opinion. At the same time, Friday was an opportunity to make more history at a course that he admires more than any other. The great Tiger Woods said earlier this week that he's here to win and that he teed it up because he believes in another victory that is still possible. If everything comes together and he gets in the hole enough times, if you get what Tiger's been doing 5 times, 5 green jackets, that means he was able to get in the hole a lot fewer shots than the competition. So victories are what drive him, but they do not cause him to downplay the mundane act of just making the cut. But he made the cut. And after all, you can't do one without the other. While many define Woods' 82 PGA Tour wins and 15 major championships, there's another number that he also cites, 142. And that's the number of consecutive cuts he's made from 1998 to 2005. It's his long list of PGA Tour records. Get in the hole! And get that some praise. For anyone who's ever picked up a club, it's a testament to his willingness to grind, to put in the extra effort when things are not going your way. And then today, he had the opportunity to establish another record cut streak, and he was seeking his 24th consecutive made cut in this tournament. A streak that would surpass the mark he shared with the great Gary Player and Fred Couples despite the unfavorable conditions and his physical limitations. Tiger also did so with relative ease, shooting 73 and 72 to finish well inside the line. And that's why when I shot 66, I thought I was doing something worth bragging about. I said, Tiger shot 73 and 72. I shot 66. How about that? And they said, you still got the back nine to go, Big C. In the meantime, get your assets off the golf course. You didn't make the cut. Well, that's my story, and I'm taking with it. But when you think about Tiger, he was tied for 25th when he walked off the 18th green Friday afternoon, and he promised that I'm telling you, he said that needing a text message would soon be sent to couples to mark the occasion. It's consistency. We all need consistency in life. It's longevity, and we all need longevity in life. And it's an understanding of how to play this golf course. And Woods says that Tuesday of the record. Now you still have to go out and execute. But there's a lot of knowledge that goes into understanding how to play Augusta National. They've changed that course many times because Tiger made it seem so easy when he had won a Masters by double digits. That wasn't good for the good old boys. And that's the need about Tiger Woods going through all the injuries that he's dealt with and the surgeries. But he still rises and shines every day. That's amazing. He can still go through the mental Rolodex and bring out a few putts from the 90s that still move generally in that direction. And the effect of Race Creek has on certain shots and putts, it means a lot to Tiger. When he is at the 16th green, Tiger with the putt, the ball's rolling downhill in your life. Have you ever seen such a putt? The great Vern Lindquist with that call, maybe the greatest call in golf history. In your life, have you ever seen such a cut? And like when I shot 66 at the Masters, Vern Lindquist said, when I said I shot 66, and Vern Lindquist says, Big C, in your life, I've never seen someone shoot 66 at the Masters. You still got the back nine to go, Big C. I mean, I love adding that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. But Tiger Woods' affection for Augusta National comes not just from a lot of people who love it, Alistair McKenzie's design, which allows him to fully utilize his creativity and shot-making skills, but also because of the course's annual accumulation of history. And it's the same place where he played his first major championship, competing in 1995 as the reigning U.S. amateur champion. He watched from the crow's nest. I tell you, there's something about Gene Sazin and Byron Nelson and Sam Snead hit the ceremonial tee shots, and then 3 years later, he marveled at the fact that those three were drinking milkshakes he had on his Chapman's dinner menu. There's such an aura and mystique about playing this golf course, Tiger said. He played practice rounds with the great Arnold Palmer, the great Jack Nicklaus in his first Masters, and he's been playing here long enough to see the likes of the great Jordan Spieth, the great Scotty Scheffler, and put on the green jacket. At Augusta National spans generations. The great Tiger Woods missed the cut in his second Masters, so this record-setting streak started with a 12-shot victory in 1997. He won the Masters by 12 shots in your life. And he's been able to move the needle every time he's on television. So, the weekend, people may watch basketball, they may watch baseball. But for sure, you can bet even people who are not even golf fans or fanatics, they're going to watch Tiger Woods. And they're going to ask the question, who's this guy named Big C that shot 66? And I'm going to say, in your life! To me, I think that's funny. But I think about what Tiger's done and the record-setting streak. Think about anyone doing anything 24 years in a row. He's won here 5 times, but also played through. 5 times is a lot. There are a lot of guys who never won even once that are considered top professional golfers that haven't won one Masters jacket. This brother's won 5 times. And he, listen, there's no reason that he can't win number 6. because he's in the game. And that, from what I understand, with most people that compete at a highly competitive level, they just want a chance. If you have a chance to do something that makes you happy, that you love, that's what Tiger's doing. Remember, he came off of a major surgery. He's had many operations. He's won 5 times in the past, and now he made the cut again for the 24th time. You know, every time he's won a Masters, he also made the cut. Yeah, well, that's surprising, Big G. Of course he made the cut. At the same time, he still has a chance. And he's played through swing changes and injuries and personal scandal when his ex-wife broke out the window of his Cadillac Escalade, causing him to run into a tree. You know, his ex-wife, she was not prosecuted. She was not arrested. Could you imagine if him as a black man had chased down a white lady and broke out the window of her Cadillac Escalade and she crashed into a tree? You think he would have gotten off? Oh, there you go again, talking about unfair treatment in the law. Do you think he would have gotten off? No, he wouldn't have. It would have been all over the news. It was already over the news, but she never faced any type of criminal indictment. And he lost over $100 million in sponsorship because the white media made it, oh my God, Tiger Woods, he's out there doing what we do. But you know, it's about a black and white thing, the miscegenation that a lot of people hate. And that's a problem that cost him $100 million. You know, has he learned his lesson? I don't know. At the same time, no matter what people think about Tiger Woods, he who's without sin cast the first stone. Nobody's going to cast a stone. So no matter what, he's always found a way to make the cut. And for 24 years in a row, Tiger Woods, he tied the record last year by slogging through the rains and temperature changes in the 40s as he competed his suspended second round early on a Saturday morning. The great Tiger Woods would need to make so much of a mental battle to come through and fight through that pain. Think about that in front of the whole world watching. That's the incredible thing about Tiger. He's not doing it in anonymity. It's amazing. He finished his second round early Saturday morning last year, and the Woods would need to have ankle surgery weeks later, but seen limping up the hill on the par 4 17th as he finished his round. This year, he's arrived at Augusta National with just 24 holes of competitive golf under his belt, though he said late last year that he hoped to compete once a month in 2024. Tiger Woods only appeared at the Genesis Invitational before this week. 6 holes into his second round at Riviera, he had to withdraw. With the flu, his body did not allow him to make another start before Augusta, he said. And some days he just feels really good, and other days not so much. All's fair in love and war. His mind and his hands are still world class, and he questions each time he tees off whether his body will allow him to use them to their full capabilities. And then Tiger Woods, the role of a lot of veterans nowadays, no longer overpowering the course with his length. He hits a sliding and fade off the tee to keep his ball in play and uses a crafty short game to stay around par. And he made the cut easily despite hitting less than his greens. I think he hit 17 of 36 greens. But this man has had back fusions, surgery, repairing his leg that was caused by an injury in an automobile accident. And then the man is still doing his thing. Get in the hole! You still hear that when Tiger's out there on the greens. His short game was I'm telling you, it was so good. I don't think anyone can explain how good some of his chip shots were that he hit today. Said Max Homa, who played alongside Tiger Woods, he's special, especially when he's trying to get in the hole. He had a really quick turnaround and was feeling tired and awful. And imagine he was feeling even worse. Homa added all the cliches about what you hear about Tiger Woods and the old stories about how he would grind it out. It was fun to see that in person. His father trained him well growing up to fight through pressure. Tiger Woods was 1 under par when he played suspended Thursday evening. He made 2 bogeys on the 5 holes he played Friday morning along for a 1 over 73. And he started the second round with pars on his first 2 holes before playing a 6-hole stretch without a single par. He made birdie on the 3rd hole, hitting a 91-yard wedge shot to 9 feet before the bogeys. And then number 4 and 5, 2 of the course's most difficult holes. Get in the hole! made another bogey after finding a green side bunker on the par 4, and 7th and rebounded with birdie at the par 5, 8th, and 5 consecutive pars followed before a bogey at the 14th hole. But he reached the green in 2 birdies, par 5, 15th, before closing with 3 consecutive pars. Get in the hole! You know, it feels so good when you get in the hole and you've done it 24 times, enough to make the cut. He said, I'm here, he said. I have a chance to win the golf tournament. And that would not be possible without making the cut. Added another record to Tiger Woods' remarkable Masters. I mean, I'm telling you, there's so much that I love about the great Tiger Woods. Got me following golf. Because oftentimes, I studied golf growing up, and I didn't see a lot of men, African Americans, because oftentimes those white golfers would not allow it. They say, get your ass set off the golf course! In the land of the free and the home of the brave. But it's good that I guess we've gotten through that part on the golf course. Tiger, imagine Lee Elder wasn't allowed to play golf at the Masters Augusta National Invitational. Not because they didn't want to. They just were not allowed to by the white matriarch or patriarch that was down there and not allowing it. They love that segregation stuff, even though all life came from Africa. I got to put that in Dr. Leakey Gregory Mendo. You know what they said to Dr. Leakey and Gregory Mendo when they told him that all life originated in Africa from the womb of a black woman, yet they were segregationists when it came to golfing? They said, Dr. Leakey and Gregory Mendo, the world's foremost paleontologists and scientists, get your assets off the golf course. It's amazing how sometimes people use discrimination to stop egalitarianism, liberty and justice for all. I love what I do with Big C Sports Podcast, but I'm fair. I love talking about the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. And it's not divisive. I want to root out people that make life unfair. If you're a segregationist, get out! I don't want to make it easy for segregationists. So when people say, oh, Big C, there you go again, talking about segregationists and talking about racism and how reparations is divisive for the segregationists. If you're a segregationist, you don't want to hear about reparations. Think about that, how there's so many times people are afraid to make the segregationists and the racists feel uncomfortable. Oh, Big C, if we talk about reparations, you're going to make all the racists, they're going to feel uncomfortable. If you're not racist, why would you be uncomfortable talking about reparations? If you're not a bigot, why would you be ashamed of hearing about repairing things that were done wrong? All of these great golfers, the great Jack, Palmer, all these great guys, they didn't fight hard enough to end segregation now, segregation forever on the golf courses. Oh, yes they did, Big C. Well, Dean Smith, when he coached North Carolina basketball, there were places where his black basketball players couldn't stay in the hotels down in the South. And the late Dean Smith said, if we can't all stay, then none of us will stay. And they knew that they were benefiting from racism. But they didn't protest it, because had they protested it, they would have not played the Masters. They would have said, if black men can't play, then I won't play. But they didn't say that. They said, well, you know, maybe now's not a good time because we don't want to upset the racist. But they could have done better. They could have followed Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to treat everybody fair. So not only has Tiger done a lot in the world of golf around the world, Tiger's made people realize that being racist is pretty stupid. It's a dumb thing to be. Racist and then going to church on Sunday, praising a black God that they painted white. Big C, I thought you were talking about the Masters. I am. Revelation chapter 1, verses 14 and 15. The book of Daniel chapter 7, verse 9 and 10 and 6. Christ has skin the color of brass and hair like lamb's wool. What's that got to do with the Masters, Big C? Because they call Christ Master. I'm just saying, I love having fun with Big C Sports Podcast, but I don't like racists. I don't like bigots. I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. So if you're not a bigot why are you anti-reparations? You know if somebody stole something from you, you want it back. You know you would, maybe lightning strike. I love doing things that are so factual that you can't say you didn't hear it. I want to try to play something because I want to pay homage to Tiger Woods, whether he wins the Masters or the 88th Masters. I want to bring this up because I want to pay homage to him, and I want to do it in a way that takes me out of the equation for a moment.
And of course, it happens the way it happens.
A bit of a fairy tale, I think, really.
He keeps doing things that people don't think anyone can do, and he does it.
On Sunday of the 2019 Masters Tournament, eyes were glued to television sets around the world. Fans sat on the edge of their seats as they witnessed the seemingly impossible magic of Tiger Woods.
The atmosphere was electric. I was right there to witness greatness and witness history, and really cool to be a part of that. You know, to be the first one to embrace Tiger after such a historic run.
Last year, I was on my couch in college watching him just kind of, dominate. Actually, he won on my birthday. Arguably one of the greatest comebacks in sports history, and I was just happy to be able to watch it.
I pushed my flight back to watch it. I mean, I had finished before him, was supposed to fly out with my family, and I pushed it back. I wanted to see that. I don't think I've ever rooted for another golfer as hard as I rooted for him.
I had a brief thought about, wow, that's awesome. I need to start playing some good golf because if Tiger's going to be winning Masters and majors and competing for those, it's going to be really nice to be out on the PGA Tour.
Yes, I'm a player, but I'm very much a fan as well. What Tiger has done all through his career, continues to do now, and to get that magic number, yeah, you got to watch it.
But history was not on his side. In all of Tiger Woods' previous major victories, he was either tied or in the lead after 54 holes. Heading into the final round, Woods trailed Francesco Molinari by 2 until it all changed on hole 12.
It started with walking down 11 because I had to play my shot out of the trees.
It looked as though Brooks or Molinari might win the golf tournament.
I had my putt down the hill, but looking over there, you see Polt and Brooksy taking drops.
And then when the guys start filling up Ray's Creek on the 12th hole.
But when we got to the tee, after 2-putting 11 and getting to the tee and seeing Francesco hit his shot.
How many times have you seen the tournament lost into the ball and right of that bunker?
Seeing Fran's shot, I know he didn't quite hit it, but you could see it stall.
Tiger hit the ball, and of course he had a little cut shot over the left side of the bunker into the middle of the green. Tournament's over.
April 14th, 2019 is a day many will never forget. Not just because Tiger Woods achieved what many consider to be the greatest comeback in sports history, but also because of the heartwarming celebration with his family.
It was a pretty cool moment with him and his kids off the 18th green there, and
he's just more than what we see as a player. He's also a human being, as a father, a son. It's important to remember that, and it's great for him to have that moment as a family.
It was unbelievable to be able to put the jacket on Tiger. I mean, it's a moment I won't ever forget, and I'm pretty sure he won't ever forget.
In your life! I love talking about that. That, to me, to hear the great Tiger Woods and the people that compete against Tiger Woods, the other great golfers, to me, imagine if we never had discrimination in this country. Imagine if there were never racism in this country. Imagine if we never had to deal with segregated golf courses, segregated country clubs, segregated neighborhoods. If all people realized that all life came from the African continent, if you know where you come from, maybe you respect your root a little better. I love adding that to Big C Sports Podcast. I just do. I think that sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. And when you think about it, what if we could all cheer for equality the way we cheer for touchdown, home run, three-point play? Oh, man, Willie, he's going all the way. I love doing that with Big C Sports Podcast. I want to honor today the world of golf, Tiger Woods, 24 consecutive cuts? There's a lot of people can't make 24 consecutive cuts cutting up an apple. I know because I've tried. But I'm just so... I love what I do with the Big C Sports Podcast. I love being around athletes, as I have most of my lifetime. And I love paying homage to what athletes and entertainers have done. I love helping people protect your assets with the RDC team in Big C Sports. 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. I want to just offer prayers to the people that I've talked to recently that have told me that they're going through some tough times. And I just ask that God will open up opportunities for you. I need the same things in my life. Every day is a gift. I need favor in my life also. And people go through things. You know, you hear about the Masters champion winning $18 million. And then there are people asking me, can they borrow $20 for gas? And everybody goes through something. You don't know what people are going through. I want to just be kind and ask people just to be kind. You never know what people go through. And we take sports and we take our mind off of junk. But I just appreciate the fact that God gave me the chance to be around sports, and I love doing Big C Sports Podcast. I love paying, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I love paying homage to my beautiful family legacy. On my mother's side, my great-grandmother called her Mama, my great-grandfather called him Pop, and my grandmother, Madia, she was a seer, could oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about their past, present, and future. She still helps me to this day. And then my grandfather, Hezekiah, another one of a person, a seer, could oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about their past, present, and future. Really do appreciate him. And then I can always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and also coached an all-boys Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Always saying rise and shine. The best person I ever met in my life. Love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. The best person I ever met in my life. The way the great Colonel Memphis said it. On my father's side, my grandfather, Albert Curry. My goodness, a pastor, had 3 churches, also owned 2 gas stations, and my own 40 acres of land. My beautiful grandmother working side by side with my grandfather with the churches as well as the gas stations. I was 8 years old walking through a hallway in Oakland. She touched me on my forehead and said, there's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak. And now I'm on 29 podcast platforms and streaming on 4 TV platforms. I'm asking God for all the favor. Oh my goodness. Matthew 7:7, ask and ye shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. I believe in that prayer. I just believe in that prayer, and I'm asking everyone that's going through something, keep believing in that prayer. Keep asking, keep seeking, keep knocking. Always rise and shine. Really do appreciate my grandmother. Then my beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure that planes can fly high so we can all stay safe at night. My dad always saying develop your mind to its highest extent. Love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful brother Todd with that bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning in the top of the beat. Always saying go forward. A voracious reader. Love Todd with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors. In 3.5 years from a major university. You can be anything you want to be, Daisy. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Always tell people that you love them now. Don't wait till it's too late. Don't wait till it's too late. There's no division between God. And you know what I'm telling you is the truth. Life is not promised forever. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Set up the very first interview for Big C Sports Podcast. I love you. You can be anything you want to be. I pray Isaiah 54:17 that no weapon formed against you will prosper. My beautiful handsome son Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College student, very smart, erudite, a good man. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Don't let division happen in life. Malcolm helped me save trees. I used to always get newspapers looking for stats on players and teams for the Big C Sports Podcast. One day Malcolm said, Dad, why don't you just Google it? And a light bulb went off. I've been Googling ever since. One day Malcolm said, Dad, you want to see Big C Sports on TV? I said, sure. He said, pick up the remote, aim it at the TV and say, play Big C Sports. You see your show come up. That's before it was even on the air. Now it's streaming on 4 TV platforms. Malcolm can be anything you want to be. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Never let division happen in your life. Always trust God. Every day is a gift. You love somebody, tell them. And then you can be anything you want to be. And then Big C with all that wealth of knowledge over the years, like my great-granddaddy coming out of that barn, always saying, you got to believe, you got to believe, you got to believe. Let's get ready to rumble. I love to say welcome to the show. As we nominated Big C Sports Podcast, I have no scripts. I have no three-way teleprompters. I have no producer in my ear. What I love saying is I rise and shine every day. As I always tell you, that's my story and I'm sticking with it. If you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad. And fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. Call Uber. Call Lyft. You can walk it off. You can sleep it off. Don't let someone you love get behind the wheel of the car after they've been drinking. The life you save may be your own or someone you love. As I always say, my beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism. You know, like when the masses are segregated and people golf it anyway. Or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that crap on their own. No one who loves you says, I'm only hitting you because you made me mad. I'm only slapping you because I don't like what you said to me. I'm only hitting you because I'm angry. Don't put up with that crap. Call 911 and don't let them back in. No man, woman, or child should ever have to deal with that crap. That's my story and I'm taking with it. Well, as I always tell you, back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He's known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly and you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali said, I'm so pretty. I can't possibly be beat. And every time I listen to Big C Sports, it makes me want to say reparations now, reparations forever. And then I float like a butterfly and I sting like a bee. There's no one greater than Muhammad Ali. As I always tell you on every Big C Sports show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day. What about Abraham Lincoln and Martin Luther King, Big C? That's right. Let's do, when you say, in the hole, what did Dr. King and Abraham Lincoln tell President Biden? He said, sign reparations now, sign reparations forever. Get in the hole. Do it two more times. Abraham Lincoln told President Biden, he said, sign reparations now, sign reparations forever. Get in the hole. Say it like you just won the Masters. What did Abraham Lincoln tell President Biden to do? He said, sign reparations now, sign reparations forever. Get in the hole. Get in the hole. Get in the hole. Thank God Almighty. Get in the hole. Have a super fantastic day.